Bishops of opposite colors. We've heard all those strange things. We've all heard of the strange goings on in relation to bishops of opposite colors. Aren't those things supposed to make endgames unwinnable, even if you're a gazillion pawns down? Are we supposed to court them or avoid them? Is it true that the apocalypse is upon us if bishops of opposite colors appear on every board at the same time in the same round of the same Grandmaster tournament? I run into questions like this all the time. See, Selman's the one who started the jokes. Of course, bishops of opposite colors are merely a bishop versus bishop battle. Yet it's a strange battle that resembles a war between two creatures in different dimensions. Because they will live on different color diagonals until they are placed in the after game box, the bishops can't touch. They can't defend what the other attacks or attack what the other defends. And if you place your pawns and/or king on the opposite color of the enemy bishop, the ghost bishop will find that it can't touch anything at all. So that's what he's talking about, position like this, where you place your pawns on the opposite color of the enemy bishop. So white places their pawns on dark squares, the enemy bishop's on light squares, and the ghost bishop, the black bishop, can't touch any of the pawns. Okay, this is an insane position. But though it's ridiculous, it does a very good job at showing how absurd a bishop of opposite colors position can be. Here white is 2 pawns and 3 pieces ahead. Black is passive and white's king is also far better placed than black's. Yet the game is a dead draw. How can this be? The problem for white is that his armada of dark squared bishops can't touch a light square if their lives depended on it. This means that the only white unit that can attack the c6 square and the g6 pawn is the king. And since those two targets are so far apart, white's king can't skip from one to the other in a single move. Thus, black will always have a pass move with his king. So black can play king c6 to d7 to d5 and back to c6 over and over. Or bishop from h5 to d1 to h5 to d1, etc. Depending on the direction white's king is gone. So when the white king tries to pressure on the queen side, black moves the bishop. When the white king is trying to pressure on the king side, like by putting the king on f6 here, when this bishop can't move, then black just moves their king and there's no way for white to break through. Let's look at some moves. Bishop c2, double question mark, loses to, this is a good puzzle, pause it here, h5. Takes h5, g6. When black's remaining piece will soon have to sacrifice itself on g6 or g8. This tells us that the black bishop must do 2 jobs. 1, defend g6 if it's attacked. 2, never lose contact with the h5 square. That way h4, h5 can always be met by bishop takes h5 when white fails to get a passed pawn. So, yeah. So what's going to happen in this position?
Check.
Let's say they sacrifice it right away. White's going to capture this pawn and then eventually get opposition or kind of bully the king out of the c6 square, and then the king is going to capture the b5 pawn. Bishop c to e5. Never seen that before. Just kidding. Bishop c to e5 is one of the most common moves played. threatening to take control over c6 by king d7. Now we see that whenever white's king is ready to challenge for the c6 square, black's king must immediately scurry back to c6 and let his light-squared bishop take over the passing duties. Black must avoid king d5 double question mark.
Check.
When white has gained control over c6, thereby freeing the c5 pawn.
Check.
If bishop f5, then h5 wins. Because of what we talked about earlier. 1/2, 1/2. Since white can't make any progress.